Alright, so, last time on Burnout Revenge, we finished Tier 9, and now we have just 18 events to go in the career, plus the challenges and whatever signature takedowns I still need to get. As we have got over 2,200 takedowns, 66 cars, and so far we have completed 53 challenges. The other things, of course, I will obviously make sure to finish when the time comes. But anyway, here we are. The final tier of the World Tour. Tier 10. As we've got one race event at Sunshine Keys, ironically where we started. And we've also got a race event at Angel Valley. As all the other places, they probably do have race events, but we are going to begin at Sunshine Keys, and where we will start with the traffic attack. Ironically, the same course where we started this game. And I think, because I know I need a balanced car to get through this, I'm gonna use... Let's use... Yeah, we'll use the Criterion M-Type for this. And we'll race it in... I quite like that shade of purple. Yeah, let's race this thing in blue. I think this colour should do it. Okay, let's go. Alright. So, we need 1.25 million for the gold, 500,000 for a silver, and 1/5 for a bronze. I think my maths is correct. Anyway, here we go. I'm convinced in saying this should be like most of the traffic attacks. This won't be too hard to really get a rhythm established. I think the only enemy I really have to face in this is time. And I need to make sure that I spend most of my time in the flowing lane, because that's more or less the best way to really get the chaos fired up. I already have all the signature TDs around this place, so I know that's not going to be a problem. However, what will be a problem is figuring out what vehicles to hit and not hit. As already, I have broken into the bronze territory. And that probably took me about less than a minute of driving to get there, is what me thinks. But then again, I am also being conservative because I know how to get the traffic attack to work in this game. I just have to make sure that I keep myself flowing with the traffic most of the time, and then I'll most likely succeed. And both of those were parking lots. Anyway. Can I keep this run alive? Yes, I can, because I hit a truck. And I got another trick shot. And there is my first wreck of the event, and probably not my last. But we're making good progress for now. It's only a matter of time before we break into the double cash territory. So we seem to be holding on pretty well for now. How far are we going to get? I get to just under 400,000 at the end of the first lap. And now I have surpassed 400,000. So still have another at least 800,000 to get in order to really be classified for winning. Okay, now we need less than 800,000 on the board. And now we've got the silver, so we are steadily closing in on the gold. As long as I stay in the flowing lane and I don't get racked too many times by the traffic from the oncoming lane, then I think I should be fine. Because overall, this run has been pretty easy. And I've had very little in terms of trouble with this event so far, so I think this probably is going to be an easy gold the way things are looking right now. Because I ironically got the gold so easily last time. I know my past history and I know when something was easy. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Truck. You got me up to 1 million. Something I only just noticed. And thankfully, time is now back on my side again. So we're now into the awesome ranking. We've passed 1 million. So we do not have much further to go before we reach the gold. And I think I just hit a bus as well, so it's looking good for now. Just have to make sure we keep this up. Should probably also do some boosting as well, just to make sure that I get my rating back up again. And thankfully that bus saved me, I think, unless it didn't. Well, either way it was worth a try. And now I am back into the awesome rating again. The reason I did that boosting was because I had to get myself back into the awesome ranks. And can I get over 2 million? I would honestly be shocked if I do manage to get more than 2 million. But at this point in time, well, I might have a lesser shot of happening now, but at least I got the awesome rating, and that's where it matters. That's where I needed to strike the most. And am I going to reach 2 million? Okay, I just passed 2 million. Barely, but I did make it past 2 million overall. And that was probably the best possible way I could have started Tier 10. So just over 2 million in vehicle damage. Unfortunately, there are no stats to keep up with vehicle damage, unfortunately. It gives me stats on how many vehicles I've traffic checked, but it doesn't really give me any stats in terms of how much money I have really caused in vehicle damage for the traffic attacks. Anyway, on to the next one. I'm not gonna lie, that traffic attack, it was pretty easy. Although what wasn't easy was making sure that I got the awesome rating. Anyway, we've now got an eliminator. And guess what? I am going to do that. So now we're back up to the monster cars once again. And well, this time I am going to use I think I've used all of these cars at least once. So you know what? I might actually use the tuned M type for this. Just because... Oh, this thing comes in green. It's a lean green machine. I think I'm also going to make this thing my thumbnail car as well, which is why I'm just giving it the full scale view around. It makes sense to me, at least. Okay, I think that's enough time wasted, so let's get on with the event. So here we are for what should be one of, I think, the final 3 eliminators in this game, unless it's only 2. I don't know for sure, but I would be willing to guess it's either the final 2 or 3 that we have to do. And there is my first TD, and yep, the AI are trying to kill me. Shouldn't surprise me either. And yep, I am very much locked in a battle. And because I took him down, I could not take the shortcut. And I literally get blasted straight through the ground. But somehow, I managed to stay alive. I was really thinking about restarting once I noticed my car glitched through the road again. But amazingly, the game actually spared me, and it actually let me go. I actually got through just fast enough to fight another day, or to just keep the battle going in general. I don't know if that technically counts as a crash or not, but I definitely know it was not my fault. And apparently it counts as a perfect lap, because I didn't crash. And that was the Black Elite Racer I just took out. Okay, now where's the hell is the leader? He's just up the road. Come on, catch him, catch him, catch him. Or I could just do that, that also works. Alright. And then there were 2. Now it is between me and the limited M type, I think is what that car is behind me. Has he used the shortcut? No, he hasn't. He must have wrecked himself. Just gotta make sure I stay in front. And I narrowly escape a crash, but it doesn't matter because I win. I don't know if that counts for me winning a race without crashing, but I definitely know I won that race fair and square. And I think I won it right before I wrecked at the end, because I was pretty much boosting most of the way. Anyway, on to the next one. Yeah, I was pretty sure that wasn't going to count in terms of winning a race without crashing, because I wrecked right at the end. But in spite of me being glitched out, I still came away with the win somehow. And that one is still elusive, but maybe if I'm lucky, we can get there at some point. Anyway, time now for Motor City, as we have now got the Crash Breaker Road Rage, and we've also got one takedown left in Motor City. And aside from that, we have got quite a few challenges to get through here, as we've only done half of them. And I also need to set a high score of 10 million as well. But I will figure these things out as I go along. Anyway. Crash Breaker Road Rage. And this time... we will use... yeah, let's use the Criterion for this next one. Seems like the right call anyway. Or we can use the M-Type. Actually, yeah, let's use the M-Type for this. And... sure, we'll go with this. I think this works. Alright. So we need 21 for a gold, 15 for a silver, and 9 for a bronze. However, what I am also going to try and aim for is the signature takedown spot where the cranes are located. If I can get one of those, then all in all, it'll pretty much be mission complete. Also, something else I just noticed on this car is that the badge actually lights up. I only just noticed that. Haha! Take that, you bastards. You ain't wrecking me without paying the ultimate sacrifice. I dare you to try that again. Come at me, you son of a bitch. I am waiting for you. There we go! Alright. We got all the signature TDs for Motor City. Finally. And it really has been a long time since I actually got a signature TD from Motor City. But there we go. That was our last one in Motor City. And now we have just 3 left. Whatever happens from here, the signature TD is ours without question. That was almost oblivion. I was so goddamn close to oblivion. With that fence. I almost went straight into it. By the way, my car understeered off the corner. Alright. Got the silver. Now we need to get the gold. Can we get there? We're now just... okay. Oh, okay. I actually got my car moving again. And I get wrecked in the process. I really thought for sure my car was going to be damage critical for a moment there, which was why I paused. But the game said no, it wasn't damage critical. At least not yet. Hey, takedown double. Nice. Now I just need one more. And there we go. Gold is ours. As is the awesome rating. Which is also important because of the whole star system thing. I'm pretty sure you do get rewarded for golding all the events in this game. I'm pretty sure that is a reward in this game. Okay. I'm pretty sure we're at damage critical now. We have 26 takedowns on the board. And at this point, it's hard to see how we will not finish with the gold. Unless the absolute worst thing happens, like a power cut, but hopefully that won't happen. At least not happen again, because that was, ironically, what happened once before. And I'm not lying when I say that. it really did happen before in my playthrough. Which probably is a reason as to why at some point I might do a Redux playthrough. If and when I decide to do it. How did I miss that truck? I was so close to hitting that flatbed truck. Alright, 33. Yep, there's the damage critical note. Had to happen sooner or later. But it's okay, because I got the signature takedown. That's all I care about. Instant revenge. How many takedowns was that overall? 35. And we get a new car unlocked after 3 events. Well, it took it long enough. Still, we are making good progress, because we've only done 32 minutes of gameplay, and already I have made good progress to start with, by completing 3 events. Alright, 3 down, 3 to go for this episode. So first of all, we get the Prototype M Series GT. And this thing has got rectangular lights. Anyway, what's more important is we finished the Motor City takedown book with Crane in the Neck. And now, that is the Motor City takedown book complete. Done all those. The challenges we will have to come back to. But now we move on to Angel Valley, where we've got a traffic attack and a road rage. Already got all the signature TDs, and the only thing that's eluding me is the crash-free race, or in other words, the perfect race. So we're now going to use this thing, because I said so. And also because why not? Yeah, this'll do. Let's go ahead and use the Prototype M Series GT. So we need 1.3 million for a gold, 800,000 for a silver, and 400,000 for a bronze. I think this should be pretty easy from what I can see. The only thing I really have to do is make sure that I do that. And also make sure that I cause damage on both sides of the road. Because that's how I gain time. Okay, trying again. And making sure this time we actually do get the gold. Because even though I did get the gold, the problem I had was not converting in terms of getting the awesome rating. Which I have pretty much decided at this point is my only real target for the traffic attack events. For that, and also making sure that I use my boost tank. Because that is what I really need to work out for me. Okay. Seem to be doing okay at least for now, anyway. Okay. Okay. I really am trying my best to stay out of trouble here. That might be one of the reasons why I didn't exactly get the, that might be one of the reasons as to why... Oh, never mind. I could really do nothing about that. That was kind of something that was just waiting to happen. I really tried to stay out of it. I really did. But these vehicles just keep showing up. Almost like you're pretty much... Almost like you're pretty much just in the rush hour of New York. You know it's not going to stop. It's just going to keep going until it gets to a certain point where the roads very occasionally clear themselves. Although then again, it needs to be a race event in order for me to get the reward. And that's kind of where... How that van did not hit any of those other vehicles, I will never know. It was definitely something that should have worked, but it somehow didn't. I now know how it feels to be a professional footballer that, whilst he is really trying to go for the shots, for whatever reason, just aren't seeming to materialise when they should be materialising. That's kind of how I feel right now. Well, the one thing I will say from watching association football for at least the last 5 years, well, more likely to be 7 or 8 years, given my overall experience. I know that in a lot of games I watch, I know most of them are going to be typically low scoring, and I also know that oftentimes they will very much be long, drawn-out defensive struggles, without there being many opportunities of a shootout. At least that's my understanding of it anyway. My analogy could be wrong, but I at least know enough experience from people who are association football fans, and they know that they still enjoy the game in spite of it usually being boring as hell. And oftentimes, if you're like me, you basically get used to those sorts of things. And you basically just accept them for what they are and just pay attention to what's happening on the field. That's normally what I do anyway. Although oftentimes I don't really watch major association football events unless it's for something as big as either the Euro Cup or the World Cup. And I don't refer to the Champions League either, because, well, as I said before, I am a very casual fan. I'm probably more of an NFL fan than I am an association football fan. Because normally NFL football does find a way to be more compelling. And not just because of the deep shots or the high speeds. Okay. How many more cars can I get involved in this? Okay, we've passed 1.6 million at least. Can we get to 1.7? Doesn't look like it. And never mind, we do. We surpass 1.7 million. 1.8 million to be precise. Is this going to be another run where I get over 2 million, potentially? It would be nice if I would, and surprisingly I do. 2.1 million is how much I now have. I think I might just get more than this. Holy shit. 2.2 million already. And I am not even done yet. In spite of the crashes I have had before. There was no way I could have seen that bus because that van was right on top of me. It would have been impossible for me to see that bus was there. I just wouldn't have been able to avoid it even if I wanted to. And I just get over 2.5 million in the end. You know, in spite of all the crashing I did in that traffic attack, I still got well over my gold target. Alright, 4 down and 2 to go for what is episode 28 of this game. So first of all we get this, the tuned R205 GT. And I really like those hood scoops. Okay, so what do we have next? Ah yes, this thing. Well, we've got one here, and we've got another one at Angel Valley, so... Wait, how many have we done now? I want to check. Okay, I think we've done 4 events now, so... Yeah, we'll do another 2, just to even the playing field. Crash Breaker Race at Sunshine Keys. And where I am hoping this time I might have a shot of winning without crashing. Maybe. Although that might be a big ask. Also, this thing looks sick. And I mean properly sick. Like, it looks like just the sort of race car that you know looks good. It looks about as striking as a Maserati MC12. That really is just how good looking I think this car really is. Anyway, let's go. Alright, Crash Breaker Race. How many laps are we doing here? Okay, 2 laps. I don't think I'm gonna win without crashing though, because we are up against... Well, I start off with a double takedown at least, which is a good thing. I don't think this is going to be a race I win without crashing, but I would sure as hell be happy if I was actually going to come close to achieving it. I would honestly be relieved as fuck if I was able to win this without getting wrecked once. I know that's probably not going to happen, but I'm going to try everything in my power to make sure I at least try and get there. That had every... Yep. I knew that was coming. You know what? It was nice while it lasted. I can always focus on winning without wrecking into the day anyway. Unless I lose. And at this point in time, I am currently not losing. Yeah, as I said before, it's gonna have to be with, I think, the slowest cars in the field for me to really win the no crash races. Somehow I really don't think that's gonna happen though. At least not until I am done with the career mode. I'm more likely to get the signature takedowns in the book than I am to getting the fucking clean race rewards in the books. I mean, at the back end of the game, a lot of the time, it's just way too chaotic for me to really think I am going to get through this without crashing. It's just not going to happen. Plus, considering we are doing in excess of 200 miles an hour down these city straights, it's really not worth it to just try and go for a race win without crashing when you're doing in excess of 200 miles an hour. In my opinion, it's just not worth it, and you're basically just asking for trouble. I mean, the speeds you're already doing are practically insane enough in bumper-to-bumper traffic. But what makes it even more insane is the fact that you not only have to finish without crashing, but you have to somehow win without crashing. Something I have done a few times before, but it'll be relief more than anything else, if and when I manage to do it. But either way, five race events are now done, and that just leaves one remaining. So, let's go and get it. One event left for episode 28. Okay. Let's now get through our other Angel Valley event whilst we're here, because that's available. We might as well get this one out the way, and then we'll pretty much be done with part 1. And to finish this off, yeah, we'll use the Criterion M-Type for this, and we'll see how we go. Alright. We pretty much know the drill by now, so I think this is going to be pretty easy, from what I can see. We already have all the signature takedowns, so we don't need to worry about that. All that matters is getting the gold, and making sure that we do not get absolutely blood-drenched by the AI. And I say that because I know the AI will be out for blood. Yeah, I got you eventually. I also got you as well. Yeah, I feel like it really needs to be a one-lap race if I am gonna get the no crash reward. Because judging by how much traffic there is, it really needs to be a practically flawless run. In other words, it basically needs to be like a perfect run. And apparently I succeeded in terms of getting a time extension. Although it could be all for naught. Yep, this is definitely all for naught now. Because I went straight into a dumpster. Although thankfully at least, that crash I had with the dumpster was able to save me from hitting that van. So in some cases, I think that wreck actually saved me, because it stopped me from running into a van. Alright, we got the silver, now let's go and get the gold. Okay, there we go. We're now just 4 away from striking gold. Can we get there? Only time will tell. However, this guy is not wanting me to get it. That's obvious. Although that doesn't mean to say I am not going to fight back. Okay, that's 20, now I just need one more. Okay, there we go. And yep, being in all of this traffic really making me feel a little bit apprehensive. And I did get payback on the guy who followed me. Yeah, the reverse course just feels so much more dangerous than the forward course. I think the forward course is definitely a bit more predictable than the reverse course. Because the reverse course, in my opinion, it's basically like Arkham Asylum. Like, it basically just trying to think of a reason for pretty much all the psychopathic nuts they have in that place, for one of them to basically not kill you. Well, unless you're Two-Face, then in which case, I would argue Two-Face is a very split personality. And also because, well, obviously, you know, Harvey Dent was technically the DA, District Attorney of the Gotham City Police, before he became Two-Face. Well, a gold's a gold, so I'll accept. And that took me over an hour to get through those 6 events. Not bad progress for one day if I do say so myself. Alright, next. Alright. 6 events. Or 6 race events of Tier 5 are now done. And we also have a burning lap at Motor City, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So, let's now go and look at our progress. So we're 96% complete. We've got 21 of the 24 signature takedowns. We've now passed 2,300 takedowns, got 105 revenge takedowns. We're now up to 68 cars won, and we are still at 53 challenges done. And here is everything else, blah blah blah, you know the drill. Huh. And I have now had precisely 904 total crash escapes. And the most vehicles I've exploded in a single wreck is 36. And 65 perfect laps overall. Okay, anyway. So, that'll do it for this episode, and now we will move on to the next episode.